New year, new you, what you gonna do? Sit in front of my books and go doo-doo. Hi. Hello, if you're new here, my name is Christina, aka Northwest Reader, and this is my new setup. Not sure how I feel about it yet. I might change it, most likely going to, because you get to see the wreck of a bookshelf that I have. Books on the floor, books in front. It's just the epitome of how I am and how my brain is. Yeah, I haven't filmed in a while, so I'm sorry. And I know I said cut to my past video. Hopefully next year I will be more consistent with posting on YouTube and stuff. Well, that didn't happen this month because I relaunched my Etsy shop and that kept me busy, and yeah, I just been super busy. But now this is me diving back in to the pool of YouTubing. So hopefully I will film more and have more material for you all to watch if you're at all interested. But I figured this video I would do a little catch up. I'll do like a little bit of what I've been reading, what I finished in the month of January, and probably what I'm going to continue to read in probably the next week. I'm going to try to get back onto the weekly wrap-ups, catch-ups, whatever. I don't know why I'm obsessed with the word catch-up. And I don't know how I feel about this thing. It's frustrating. If you don't notice, like, my neck is fat. Like, I have a round, like, super thick neck, but not very long. So little things like that just, it's like in my, woo, hello. Little things like that are just in my jaw. So, okay, that's what this is going to be now. Looks interesting. So yeah, that's why I figured this would be as scattered as it's already been. So let me talk about the books that I finished this month, which I think I'm at 10, surprisingly. And these are in no particular order. So the very first book that I finished this month, I'm reading with a group of people in Kelly, oh, I'm so terrible with names. I'll put her information down below and stuff. But we have a group going together where we are reading V.C. Andrew books, like the first of her books. And the first one we finished was obviously Flowers in the Attic. And I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was decent and stuff. It's very dated, and I think that was my main thing with it. And it's so weird because I read it when I was younger. I think I was in middle school, if not early high school, and thinking like, oh, this is crazy. This is like really just, I remember thinking like it's just almost romantic and stuff, even though I know it's incestuous and there's incest and stuff like that. But in my weird mind back then, I remember it being, I don't know, like a romance, which I mean it is sort of. But anyways, besides the point, it's way more brutal than I remember, and they have very questionable content in it, which I don't remember a lot of the stuff apparently, with questionable consent issues, and then victim blaming, like she was blaming herself for things, and it was just heartbreaking for a lot of it. In the end, I don't remember it ending that. It was just like, it was weird to revisit as an adult who has children also, or a child now, and stuff like that. So it was just bizarre, but I thought it was okay. It was entertaining, but it was just, I don't know, I just had issues with a few of those things, so I didn't feel right to rate it super high because of that. Another book club I'm sort of a part of, I just like hop in now and again to just check out what books they're reading, and if I'm interested then I'll join in. But the one that I finished was their December read, but I didn't finish it until like first week of January, but I started it really late compared to like when they started. But The Cold Vanish, Seeking the Missing in North America's Wildlands by John Billman. I gave it 3 stars also. I thought it was decent. I know I say that a lot, but a lot of it takes place in the Pacific Northwest, which is where I'm at. And I thought that was interesting. And a lot of the cases were missing cases, and a lot of deaths of people getting lost in the woods and different reasons. And a lot of it was interesting, but I listened to it via audiobook, and it was very disorienting and kind of confusing, especially in the first part of it when you don't realize like what you're following. Because really there's like throughout the whole book there's bits and pieces of different cases, but there's like one case in particular that's from beginning to end that runs the whole entire thing of this missing young man and his dad and this I forget the author trying to find him. So the main story I found really interesting, and a lot of the little cases I found interesting, but in the very beginning I was like trying so hard to remember all these little details that the author was giving about the different cases, and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember all this stuff. How am I going to remember? I don't but it ended up being like, oh, I don't even really have to pay attention. Like I can just kind of passively listen. But yeah, I thought it was all right. And then like by the end, it was sad. It was a really sad book, but it was just, you know, like everyone's story in it was great. It's just I didn't really care for the formatting or the pacing of it and stuff. It just felt kind of out of whack for me. But yeah, I gave that 3 stars. The next book I finished was Heartstopper Volume 4 by Alice Oseman. I gave that 5 stars. Big fan. It's just about these 2 boys that are just in love. That's all. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to spoil anything because this is towards, I think it has one more book and then it'll be the end of the series. I don't like series very often, let alone reread them, and I've read this twice now, the series so far, and once the final book comes out, I'm probably going to reread it all again. It's perfect. The next thing I finished was a short story, and it's called Tapped by Axel Malton. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was really good. It's about I don't want to give too much away because it's really short. It's like just 20-something pages or something like that. It's about this couple, and the wife is in a crappy marriage, crappy relationship and stuff like that, and then she eventually snaps. So go from there. And it's very fulfilling. By the end, you're just like, yeah. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent short story, and I look forward to reading more of Axel's stuff. The next book I finished was an audiobook from NetGalley, and it's called The Girl Who Could Breathe Underwater by Erin Bartels. I gave that 4 stars. It's definitely a hard read. The audiobook itself was done really well though. Like production wise, but the story, it's about this author who goes back to, I think it's her family's like vacation home, and it's on a lake, I believe, and while she's visiting there, she's reliving and going over past traumas and all these terrible things that happened to her, and like her best friend from when she was a child is missing, so she's kind of going through that, and just you're reliving all of her experiences that she's gone through, and I feel like it gives a pretty, I don't know anything about the author's background or anything, but I feel like their depiction of rape and how they handled that topic was really good, and she was brutally honest about it, and just how victims how they react to certain situations and stuff like that. It's really deep and kind of a heavy topic, but it was written really well. There was a couple of plot twists in it, which I kind of expected. You kind of figured it out. It was decent. It was definitely hard to read at times, so content warnings galore. Look into it before reading. So the next book I finished was another NetGalley book, and it is Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. I give it 3 stars. It started out like it's a solid mystery thriller for sure. It's good, but if you have any experience in the genre at all, like some of the stuff wasn't a surprise, and for this I would recommend not listening to the audiobook because I feel like it spoils the reveal, the big twist. And that kind of disappointed me because I feel like if I read it physically, I would have been like more surprised. But once it was revealed in audiobook, I'm like, I mean, it makes sense. But so yeah, I would highly recommend reading it physically and not listen to it, even though the audiobook itself is done really well. But it's about this couple who own a boat and they need money. So these two girls, they're like college friends or something like that. They hire the couple to take them to this island that has like a bunch of supernatural history and rumors and stuff about it. So they want to go there for, I don't remember, for some reason. And then once they get there, they meet another couple who's already there, and then just chaos erupts. Like, so many different things are happening. There's a lot of characters. Maybe there's like, total, there's like 6 or 7, and you bounce between some timelines, I think. And yeah, it was okay. It was alright overall. I thought it was pretty solid. It was just in the middle of the road for me. And again, like the reveals would have been more like shocking if I was reading it physically. So the next book I read it's more like a reference guide almost, but I still read it. Gut Health Hacks, 200 Ways to Balance Your Gut Microbial and Improve Your Health. I gave it like 3.5, 4 stars. It's pretty much everything that you could find off of Google all in one book. Like a lot of the stuff I read before or have seen researched before, but it's nice to have it in one place for sure. So I would say like if you bought it, it'd be good to just put it on your shelf and reference once in a while, because she gives a lot of tips on like natural ways to heal your, or that could heal your gut, and like just a bunch of different solutions, possibilities. Because in December I got food poisoning really bad, and then my gut couldn't handle a lot of stuff, so I had to give up a lot of stuff. But I started drinking coffee again, but I haven't had a sugar-free Red Bull in a minute, and go figure, I'm losing weight. I feel like it stunted my metabolism in some type of way, and my gut did not like it. But I miss it. The next book I finished was Finley Donovan is Killing It by Ellie Quasimodo. Quasimodo. I give it 5 stars. It is so much fun. Oh my gosh. I didn't think I was going to like this book as much as I did. It was shocking how much I enjoyed it, because I've heard about the premise, I've read the premise, and I was just like, about it. It sounds kind of stupid, but whatever. So I gave it a try because I wanted something light, and it's decent. But it is about a writer who's kind of struggling to get a story. So, and she's divorced and financial issues, and now custody issues with her ex-husband and stuff. So she's down on her luck, and she meets with her agent, I want to say, in a Panera Bread. And while she's there, they're talking about, about her storyline, because she writes about murder mysteries and like kind of just stuff like that. So they're talking about it, and then a lady, another customer that's there, is overhearing it, and she's like, ooh. So she leaves Finley a note and is like, hey, I need you to do a hit for me. So the lady thinks that Finley is a hit woman. So, and she offers her a ton of money that could solve all of her problems. So chaos and just craziness happened after that. It was so funny. She is the most lucky character I've probably ever read. Like all the situations and stuff that she gets into, it's like so beyond unrealistic, you know? But it's funny, and you're just part of this adventure and journey, and you don't mind it. I didn't mind it, so I recommend it. It was funny. So the next book I finished after that was Man, Fuck This House by Brian Asman. I gave it 4 stars. I thought this book was a haunted house, you know, just your usual, you know, what you would read for a haunted house story. But it is so much more than that, and I love it. And I don't want to, there's a certain piece to the story that I love the most, and it's the reason why I enjoyed it, but I don't want to say because it will just spoil the whole thing, and I don't want to do that. But it's about a family who move into a new house, and just occurrences happen, and it's a bunch of weird stuff. Like, you just don't know what's happening. There's quite a few moments where I was guessing, thinking, oh yeah, I know what's happening, and nope, nowhere near it. But I enjoyed the different perspectives of different characters, because you're part of the main character's perspective most of the time, which is the mother, and then her son, who is 10, I want to say, young, maybe 8, I don't know, around there. And then, like, you see the daughter, I think we're in the daughter's perspective too, and then the husband, I don't remember him as much, but Brian takes you on different routes of possibilities of why craziness is happening, and it's not what you expect. And I loved it. I really enjoyed the ending. Continue reading it too. Like, once you get to like the author's notes or thank yous and stuff, go past that, because there's more to the story. Because I always read all of authors' like notes at the end and stuff, and then I saw there was more to it, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was enjoyable, and I loved it. So the next book, I think this will probably be the last book I finished this month. If not, I'll talk about it next month, next week. The next book I finished is Finley Donovan Knocks 'Em Dead, and this was an audiobook arc from NetGalley. It comes out February 1st. And I gave it 4 stars. It's not, in my opinion, it wasn't as good as the first Finley Donovan, but this one, it just continues on from the first book, because the first book ends on a cliffhanger, and when I got to the end, I was like, oh no, I want more. So then I saw it was on NetGalley, and I requested, and for some miracle, they approved me, and I listened to it right away and finished it really quickly. I don't know if it just felt more scattered, and it's going a route that I don't care about. Like, it ended a certain way. I don't want to say anything. Like, I don't want to give too much away, but it went down the avenue where I just don't have interest in. So I'm not going to most likely continue with the story, because like, there are story arcs that I would like to finish, character arcs I would like to know what's going to happen, but not enough to where I'm like in a hurry and I need to know right away. Like, maybe in 5 years I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I enjoyed the first book a lot and the second one was okay. But yeah, I give it 4 stars. I thought it was decent. I was entertained, but overall it was just I might knock it down to a 3.5, but it really doesn't matter. Oh, and another book I finished, which I need to write my review, so I don't want to share too much on here, but Haley Piper's Queen of Teeth. Whoo, goodness, this was fun. It's getting a high rating. That's all I'm going to say. But it's obviously about a woman who is pretty much morphing into this entity. She has teeth. She starts forming teeth down below, and then is slowly, as I ran my hand into stuff, transforming into another thing outside and in. I want to do a special review post for it, so that's why I've been waiting for it, to have time to take pictures and stuff. And yeah, so good. So what I'm currently reading, I'm about halfway through Eric LaRocca's latest, I think it's considered a novella, We Can Never Leave This Place. What? I am at the part where the super weird, I mean, it starts off pretty like, what's going on? But where like the little before 50% mark, I'm just like, what? You know, who? A certain character is introduced and it's just wild. Absolutely wild. This is my second thing I've read by this author, close by, which the first one is this book, and everyone knows this book, I feel. But I'm so used to how Eric writes in this book. So reading like a full-on story is different because this one is just all via text messages and emails and stuff like that. So reading this format is really fun, especially if you're not familiar with any of other Eric's stuff. But I'm really digging it. I love the vibe. Eric is such a great writer. Like, I'm blown away. And I think I'm gonna try to maybe pick up Eric's short story collection. I've been like kind of steering away from it because I've heard there's like some like kid stuff in it, and I don't know if anything happens to the kids, but it's just the anxiety of it all, knowing that they're a proponent, like they're in the story. Because in this one there's some really, it almost made me stop reading moments with a little kid or baby even, so it was hard. So I just but yeah, we'll see. But I'm really enjoying this one so far. And I'm kind of dabbling in a bunch of different books. I picked up, I'm always reading multiple books. I'm awful about it. But I started, actually, I want to read this, like my main focus to read this weekend, other than Eric's book, is Craig Walwork, his Heart of Glass. And so far it's really interesting. It's like this couple that kills people. But they're not really a couple, but they're kind of a couple, but not. I'm still trying to figure out that dynamic because I just started, and it's pretty good so far. That's all I'm gonna say about it because I just started it. But he posted like you would get more from his final book in the Tom Nolan series that he writes if you read this first and then read Tom Nolan. So I'm reading this because I want to get as much as I can out of the third book because I love that series. The Tom Nolan series is so good. That's what I'm reading. That's what I plan on continuing to read. I got a bunch of arcs. I rediscovered a bunch of arcs that I had requested or like agreed to read in backlogged emails back when I was drinking, and I don't remember them whatsoever, but I have them on my Kindle. So I want to try to get to those too, because I'm just like, what? Like books that I like have on my wish list to get, and I have the arcs, I have the e-arc in my email, and I'm just, it's frustrating. Past Drunk Christina is still irritating me, even though I've been sober for going on 5 months now, which is crazy. But yeah, I'm still sober and loving it. But yeah, I'm still sober and going strong. My Etsy's reopened, so I have a bunch of Scream stuff in there. And my Patreon is still bumping. And I started doing book covers. Hello, hit me up. I'm excited. I can't wait to show you my first commission that I have. I'm in love with it, quite honestly. Not to toot my own horn, but toot toot. I love it. It's like, I'm a fan. So I can't wait to share it with everyone. And I have a couple of book mails I can share. So Aiden Merchant, Snow-Capped Press, they're cleaning out some of their books and stuff that they had, and I asked for a couple and they sent them. But Milk Teeth by Andrew Post, I read the beginning of this from after Aiden Merchant's short story collection. They had a little snippet of Milk Teeth, and my gosh, it was so good. So good. And I already have an e-copy of this, but I thought it'd be fun to have a physical copy because I feel like I'm really going to love this. And then this is Aiden's book, Horrific Holidays, and it's all about the different holidays. So, I mean, the print's kind of off, but yeah, because I think the new version, the girl is like flipped, but yeah, had to say yes. And then I bought Billy Ray Middleton Jr.'s book, The Nicest Parts of Hell. This is a thickum. This is a thickum, but I like it. I like the quality. I started the beginning of it and really enjoyed it, so can't wait to get to these. Anyways, I should probably get my kid because he's not napping, so that's okay. But I think that's it. I think that's pretty much everything. My goal is to film more. I don't know if I like this location. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. And yeah, I am open to do book covers. And people are interested in like some Photoshop tips and tricks. So I think I'm going to film that probably tomorrow or something and then post some type of special thing because I did a Man Fuck This House picture and people seem to really like it. And if you couldn't tell, it's splintered wood coming out of my face. You'd have to read the book to understand. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, and it's been a second since I did a fun review photo. So, and that didn't take me very long to do. So yeah, I'll show you some stuff. I'm not going to show you everything I do, of course, because figure it out. But I'll show you like different things. I think it would be fun because Photoshop can be overwhelming for sure. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for sticking around or subscribing or anything like that. I really appreciate it. I hope to film a little bit more. We'll see. I just get so busy. Okay, that's it. Okay. Okay. Okay, bye.